The first place I served in was Tembisa, which was a township, and it was a big sprawling area, and it was definitely a culture change. Like, that's what we have to understand. Like, if you go from America to South Africa, or any place in the developed world, you're going to realize that you're going to be in for like just a culture shock, especially if you've never been to a developing country before. It's just, the standard of living there is just much lower than what we're used to. And that was an adjustment for me, and it was sobering, you know, to see that a lot of people, like a lot of the people I taught, they lived in rooms, they lived in places that were just small, like this room we're in right now. Like a family of 4 would live in here, like something this size, like everything. They'd have their bed here, they'd have their they have like all their clothes in one corner, and then they'd have like a little thing to cook, and that's it. Like, you know, like a husband and wife and 2 kids, just all in this tiny room. That's something I experienced, and like most of the houses there are pretty small, and it's just everything's just smaller. Because in America we just, you know, we just have big stuff, that you know, big houses, big rooms. We're just used to having more living space that the people there don't have, or is used to. One other thing that also you'll notice is that crime in South Africa is a big problem, to say the least. I had one bad experience of crime there, but most of the missionaries, you know, are okay. Like, it's not something you should worry about. Like, in a lot of the areas I served in, when I told other people I lived there, they kind of were like, "Whoa, you were there?" Was there, like, Tembisa apparently had a reputation for being a very crime-ridden place. And I'm sure there's truth to that, but you have to recognize that, like, when you go into the township, if you're a white person, you're gonna realize that you are the only white person there. Like, you are completely surrounded by Africans. Like, there are no other white people who live there. So unless your companion's white, you'll be the only white person for miles. And I never felt uncomfortable with that. That was the interesting thing. Maybe it's because I was a missionary, but when you're a missionary, you just have this almost fearlessness that you can go into a place that might look really sketchy and super just not safe, but just remember, as a missionary, like it never bothered me. So I never felt uncomfortable. You're living mission rules, you'll be protected, and stay with your companion. And in South Africa, everybody speaks English, so you'll be in an English-speaking mission. However, understand there that there's 11 official languages in South Africa. It's such a multicultural place. So the 2 main white languages are English and Afrikaans. Afrikaans is like a form of Dutch. You probably won't have to speak that, or you won't learn to speak that, and you probably won't meet very many Afrikaners on your mission. And they can all speak English. And then among the Africans, they speak, it's pretty incredible that all the Africans there can speak like 5 languages fluently, and they can understand all the others, because almost all the African languages there, they all have the same like root. It's called like Bantu. Bantu was like the original African languages, like Latin, think of it like that way, and then, you know, these different languages developed, but they can all understand each other. That's the cool thing. But almost everybody there, no matter what their race, knows English. The only people who might not know English very well are some of the elderly people, but among the young people, they can all speak pretty fluent English. The most common African languages are Zulu, I noticed. Like most Africans, in their homes, they speak one of their native languages. They say, you know, Zulu or Xhosa or Setswana or one of those. But they know English, and they'll speak to you in English. So, and it's pretty understandable. I never really had any trouble understanding people for the most part. As a native English speaker, you know, we can speak pretty quickly, and people can understand us for the most part. But with Africans, English is not their first language. So if you speak really quickly, you know, you have to slow down a bit. And that's true when you're teaching anybody. But just remember that it's not their first language. That even though they're almost perfectly fluent in it, for some people, you might need to just slow it down and speak very clearly.